All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Mike and Barry podcast, the Great Mike and Barry podcast. We are here today with the lovely and Melissa Rivers. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so happy to have you here.
I'm happy to be here. Lovely is a big word right this second.
I know. We need more of that in this world.
It's the holidays. It's like, oh, no one's lovely.
Oh no, it's like right. It's like Thanksgiving. It's kind of like we're like enough, right? Like
Oh my God. I don't know how I could be this tired already. I was just saying that to a friend of mine. I'm like, how can we already be this exhausted
right,
by the whole thing?
right. And like with Christmas, you have like Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Like my name's
Well,
Barry.
and Hanukkah.
Yeah, I was getting to that. Yeah.
And my son's birthday is December 1st.
Oh wow, my son's birthday is on the 20th, and my wife is on the 13th.
Okay, so quick question.
Yeah.
December 1st is far enough away from the holidays that I feel like I got to do two separate gifts.
Okay.
20th is not. What's your stance on this?
I do them a week apart because it makes me look better.
Got it. How old?
1 year old. He's
okay, so you're still in that zone. My son is turning 22. So I'm back to when he was little, two separate. Now it's just one big one that covers both.
Okay. All right. So we're out of the Ninja Turtles demo and then on to something else. Got it. All
well,
right.
There's days that I feel like I'm dealing with someone still in the Ninja Turtles demo.
I'm 43 and I still love Ghostbusters. So there you go. You know?
Yeah, I love Ghostbusters too. So there you go.
Yeah, the movie. I mean, the last one, like, my God, it was like a therapy session in that theater, the last 10 minutes, but that's a whole nother thing. So I kind of want to open with, I was watching a clip from your reality show with your mom. Okay. And it was so beautiful because it was you on the beach and you were going through a personal issue. I don't need to get into all of that. But you're pouring your heart out to your mom. She's giving you a hug. It's great. And then your mom goes, she said something like, she had just a great comedic release on it where she's just like, I really hope I don't step in any pelican crap. And it's just like, I mean, you see that on the reality show, but is that kind of what she was, what she was like as a mom?
That's how we all are in our family.
Right. Okay.
That's how we all are. My one of my best friends always is like, she has to call me and she goes, okay, you have to let me cry and I'll tell you when it's okay to make me laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll immediately go for the joke.
Right.
So we're good enough friends that she's like, okay, you got to let me get this all out. And then I'll tell you when it's okay to say something funny. Because that's what we do in our family.
Okay. I love that. Humor is so important and it's so much, because Michael and I are both comedians. So it's just so...
I'm so sorry for your significant others and your children.
Would it scare you to tell you that my wife is a director of a preschool also?
Oh, jeez. That is just like bringing endless material home and not even trying to bring it home.
A Jewish preschool in Burbank, might I add.
Oh, that's even better. That is just there's a lot there. There's a lot there.
Right. Sometimes it just kind of writes itself. And another moment I thought was great was I was watching the movie, your mom's documentary, and one of the moments in there, she was really upset because her, the manager left, Billy, and she was having a hard time with that and on screen, and she was saying about how he was there for your father's funeral and there, watching you grow up and so to speak, and then the second, before they cut, she was like, this is going to require another makeup job, won't it? And
another what?
Makeup job.
Oh.
Yeah. So I just thought that was neat.
That's our family.
I love it. Mike, I'll throw it to you for some questions as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hi there.
Hi.
Yes. So we're talking about your mom and all that. What was it like being the daughter of Joan Rivers? I'm sure there was never a loss of humor. I'm sure, or lots of it.
Well, people ask me that all the time. I don't know any other. So It's always hard for me to say. It's like when people say, what was, do you wish you weren't an only child? I'm like, I don't know. As an adult, yes, I wish I had a sibling just because you have the common memories. So like, I don't have that with anyone else other than Cooper, but there's no one to look back and go, do you remember when Uncle so-and-so did that?
Yeah.
Because I'm the only one who's now the keeper of those memories.
Yeah.
So yeah, but our whole family was funny. My
Yeah.
dad was funny. My dad was so dry. You couldn't light a match near him. So, and it's funny because my humor is much closer to my dad's.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
In very sort of dry and sarcastic. So how was it grow? It's not like you think, it's not like, well, when did you realize? I don't know. It just kind of was always there.
Yeah. So one thing I did not know was that your mom was actually part of a group called Joan, Jake, and Jim. That was
Jim, Jake, and Joan.
or Jim, Jake, and Joan. Yeah. And so how did that all come to be?
That predates my life by
Okay.
a lot of years.
Okay.
So apparently the story goes that there was a manager that put them together. That was way back in the early 60s.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'm old, I'm not that old. Jesus.
Of course. Anything
Now,
yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, when you started with show business, did you start kind of with your mom, or did you kind of do your own thing? Because I heard somewhere that you started dancing when you were really young. Wikipedia, it says that you started dancing when you were like 8 years old. So does that need to be updated or what?
Yeah. Apparently I am having major memory blackouts. Like, they say that the traumatic things in your childhood you might not remember. Perhaps that's one of them. I don't know.
Oh, okay. That's fair point. Wikipedia isn't
it
always
could
accurate.
be.
Right.
I think that's something to discuss with my therapist. My mom went it's an urban myth, but it's actually the truth. My mother went into labor on stage.
Oh, wow.
So, and our business was always very much a family business. My mother's career was always referred to as the career, like it was a completely separate entity, because everybody sort of worked towards that one function. And yeah, I was working long before I teamed up with my mom.
Right.
Long before.
Right.
I had already been on CBS News. I was already finished MTV. When we started working for E, I had just finished filming a talk show for a pilot.
Oh, great.
So it wasn't like I came out of the blue. I had years and years and years of things on my resume.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
The dance, however, I have no recollection.
Yeah, these Wikipedia pages, you pull them up.
Wow, I've never seen that.
I'm so glad I don't have one.
It's just like, what?
Right.
Well, maybe it's like a PTSD thing and I've blocked it out.
It could be. I mean, with the therapy, you never know.
You never know.
Some people claim they do the therapy, they do hypnosis, they see alien abduction. On your case, you could forget dance.
I could, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, point your toes. Yeah, no. I can barely walk in heels. And I'm very clumsy. So perhaps that's my lack of a memory of my dance career.
How did, with the heels and clumsy, how did that work on the red carpets?
Not so good.
Right. Okay. Right.
There's lots of footage out there of me tripping and me going almost all the way down. And there was a year that my heel broke and I did actually go all the way down.
Oh.
Oh yeah. That's a lot of that out there.
So there could be a Melissa Rivers blooper reel on YouTube.
Oh, there is.
Oh, there is. Okay.
There is. Yeah. And to this day, I walk into walls and I'm one of those people who always gets caught on a door jam.
Right.
Yeah. You catch your shoulder, you're like,
yeah.
I always have bruises on my legs. I'll go to put on a dress. I'm like, whoop, not today. And literally my son, like everybody in our world knows, like it's hilarious. But yet I was an athlete growing up. And the sort of the thought is I am safer in motion doing something athletic than trying to walk across the room.
Okay. Yeah.
I will always, in the middle of the night, I'll get up. My boyfriend's like, he knows I'm up because you hear, oh, ow, fuck.
And other than not doing dance, what you're athletic, what did you play growing up?
I rode show jumpers, horses from a very young age, showed all over the world, did all that. Played tennis.
Yeah.
Adult, I still, surf, everything, ride, hike.
You still
But
ride?
no, I was a very competitive athlete. But like again, I still have to have a nightlight on in the bathroom for my own personal safety. If they could put the strips
Right
on the stairs, they would.
Are you like one of those people who like plays Nintendo Wii with the kids and you're playing with the remotes and smack some by accident?
Usually I smack myself.
Okay. Beautiful.
I've kept away from the VR goggles.
Oh god, I've tried them. I've tried them. Yeah, I mean the stuff you can do on there is just crazy. And there was some stand up comedy in VR that I went, which was really weird because as you've seen to gather from the audience, you're just looking at a bunch of avatars like computers. You don't know the reaction. So like if I do a Kanye West joke, physically I'll know I'll be okay, but I don't know.
Yeah, you think your wife brings home stories from preschool that are good for material. You just have to pay attention to Kanye. It's a whole new world.
Oh yeah, that's
a whole new world.
Yeah, that's writing itself as we speak.
On a daily, if not hourly basis.
Yeah. I don't think he'll be taking any bookings at the Jewish Community Center anytime soon.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think so.
Never know. It's a captive audience.
Yeah. It is. It is. I mean, at this point, the only thing that hasn't been canceled yet is probably his Costco membership. But
well, we'll see about that.
Yeah, there's still time.
But he can only go at certain hours when all the old Jews aren't there.
Yeah. Oh, the Northridge.
Someone will throw a piece of meat at him from the frozen. They'll use those frozen pizzas like discus.
I wish Jerry's Deli was still open. I would just DoorDash some to his house in Hidden Hills and COD and see what happens.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead. We were on.
Oh, no worries. One thing I was curious about, how did the name Rivers come to be? Because I think your mom's last name was Molinsky.
My mom's last name was Molinsky, and then she married my dad. It became Rosenberg. It was just at one point someone suggested it as a stage name.
Okay.
There's no great, like, everyone always thinks there's some like moment and the skies opened and the sun came out and the angels sang, and no, so I think a manager suggested it, and that was that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I love people always believe that there's these great stories behind things, and you're like, no.
Yeah.
Hate to disappoint, but no.
Yeah. And me and Barry were discussing beforehand, before you had come on, talking about your mom's funeral and how that was. It was a great celebration from what I've heard.
Very much so. I wanted it to be very celebratory. I didn't want it sad and mopey. And because she wasn't that kind of a person. She wasn't a sad, mopey person. So I felt it should reflect how she lived.
Yeah.
Because she was all about humor and fun and being funny.
That's how we kept it.
That's beautiful.
Did you ever try your hand at stand-up?
No, I'm not a complete and total masochist. I mean, I am filled with self-loathing, but not so much that I need to stand up and beg people to laugh at me.
All right, you broke me on that.
me and Barry are.
Exactly. After being raised by a comedian, you know just how unstable they are.
Yes.
What? I'm trying to get this next question up, but that was too good. So yeah. Wow. So moving on to a couple questions about Celebrity Apprentice, because
you realize you're not going to get any serious answer.
No, I know, and I love it, because we're here to celebrate you, and have fun. That's what we're here about. You had probably one of the most intense, I think, between you and your mom, exits on Celebrity Apprentice.
Yes, the clip that will never die.
Right. What was it? Viper Horse? Was it? Pit Viper Horse.
Or
okay.
Pit Viper. Or Pit Viper. I don't even remember.
I was close. I'm probably close. But, watching that and, growing up in the 80s with your mom, who she knew Trump, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like they were not buddies. My mother was very close and still someone I'm in touch with Trump's ex-sister-in-law.
Okay.
Who was married to Robert.
Right.
The the brother that passed away.
Yes.
But they had been divorced for a while, and you, other than the way they looked, you would not think Robert and Donald were brothers.
Got it.
In the way, and especially like you would never put Blaine and Ivana in the same sentence. They're just such diametrically different people.
Right.
And Blaine and Robert were very close to my mother.
Got it. Okay. All right.
You know, and obviously when Robert died, I reached out and sent a note and condolences and all that, because that's what you do.
Yeah.
You put anything you feel aside, and I'm a firm believer. That's the time you reach out, and it's not like you're trying to do anything or rekindle anything. It's genuine. I adored him, as did my mother, and you share that with the family. Just like my mother loved his sister Mary. It was brilliant.
Yeah, I've seen her stuff on Twitter and different.
Yeah.
But I mean, just looking at when you were on and just going through that experience, and then with your mom kind of knowing him like you did, and then the way things are now, I mean, that's got to be like, I mean, night and day, right? Like,
well, it took, especially because a lot of that happened pretty soon after my mother passed. And everybody kept saying, what would your mother be thinking? What would your mother be saying?
Right.
And I always went back, and this was the most honest answer. I had a very hard time reconciling the person that I knew versus the person that I was seeing. And that, I think, got a lot of people. I know, like Robert Kraft, who's the owner of the Patriots. And he took a lot of flack, but he came out and said, again, the same thing. And he said, when his wife died, Donald called him every single week for a year to see how he was doing.
Right.
And whether you hate him or not, that's the person that I had been around. That's the person that my mother had been around, not this version that came down the escalator.
Right. It's like a gimmicky version.
But again, I try and be very careful with my words.
I get it.
But on the flip side, I'm a huge Biden supporter. I went to Penn with Bo.
Oh wow, okay.
And we weren't close friends, but we ran in the same circle, and he was one of the lovely. So I had, whatever people would say to me, oh, and Biden, I'm like, don't go there with me.
Right.
Because it doesn't matter. There's an emotional connection for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would always leave it at that.
Right.
And that was the same thing with Trump. It's like the person that came down the escalator is not that person. And that was very hard for me to get my head around, thinking, oh, well, and a lot of people I think felt that, well, once he gets elected, he's going to be much more of a centrist and much more who we all knew him to be.
Right.
And that didn't happen.
No, and it's still not.
No, it's a little crazy out there.
Just a bit.
I'm wondering if he and Kanye are going to break up. I mean, Kanye's new girlfriend, who he brought to dinner.
Oh God, yeah, that guy. That guy's a whole nother thing in himself.
Well, my whole thing is, they know everyone who comes in and out. It's not like you can just walk up and pull up a chair.
Right.
I assume that the Secret Service still vets guests.
You would think that, if you're meeting somebody as high profile as a former president, someone might drop a file or two to their PR department about.
Just a thought.
It's all good. On that note, Mike, I'll throw it to you for the next question after that one.
Yeah. So I was curious. The last thing that I think your mom had done before she passed away was a podcast that you guys had called In Bed with Joan.
No, In Bed with Joan was actually not a podcast. It was a series that we put up on YouTube. And it was something I said as a joke. And it turned into this really fun little series where we had all these young comedians.
Yeah.
And it just turned into something silly and fun.
Well, I was curious, was there anyone that was especially hard to get for the series?
Oh my God, you're making me scrape my memory banks. No, I mean, because
No.
we were going for a much edgier, younger demographic.
Yeah.
So like you could get a Nick Kroll at that point.
Yeah.
You could get an Amy Schumer at that point. You know, because they weren't these super A-list people yet. They were these up and comers who were thrilled to spend time with my mom.
Right.
I absolutely loved it when they came out of the closet.
Thank you. That was my idea too. I'm like, where are we going to hide people? I'm like, just stick them in the closet.
You had other people like Bob Saget and Jeff Ross, and
yes, but those were friends.
Yeah, those. Yeah. But I just want to say I thought that was brilliant and just
Thank you.
One of the best series that I've seen.
Thank you. We had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah.
But I literally, because we were shooting the reality show, and as a joke, I'm like, well, could we shoot it? Maybe we can shoot something else in my shoot. How about a talk show in bed with Joan and people can pop out of the closet? I said it in like a moment, like, God, enough with all of this shit in my house. And suddenly my mom's like, that's a real good idea.
Oh, speaking of stuff in the house, do you still have your mom's cards?
Yes, I have gifted some. You mean the cue cards?
Yeah, the joke cards.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's all going to be kept at the National Comedy Center in Jonestown, New York.
Oh, okay. Next time I'm in New York,
No, apparently it's amazing. And all the greats, their estates and people still alive have committed their archives
right
to the National Comedy Center. And they just got all of Carl Reiner's stuff. Mel Brooks is committed. They have George Carlin. They have Richard Pryor. They have my mom's stuff. They're doing a huge Saturday Night Live thing. They've all participated. So it's a pretty incredible place, and it's gotten a lot of traction in like the last 5 years.
Right.
They just did a huge thing for George Slaughter.
Okay.
Who created Laugh-In and all these amazing shows. So, you know, all of his archives are now going there, and it's pretty fantastic.
I love it. Definitely.
And that's the place where these things should be.
Yeah, absolutely. Just so everyone can see and enjoy and all that. Now, also, you played your mom in a movie, right?
Just as a cameo in the Jennifer Lawrence, Bradley Cooper movie Joy, because it had to do with being over at QVC. And I had talked to everybody involved and could we, blah, 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 blah. I was fine with it. And then finally they're like, well, do you want to do it? I'm like, I don't know. And then the suggestion, well, let's do a hair and makeup test. And they did. And they're like, no, it has to be you.
Okay. Good. So
well, so I do want to promote your group text there. That's your podcast. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
You know, it's fun. It's celebrity interviews. It's chatty and interesting. And, you know, I try and talk to people not necessarily about the typical interview things. I always do some pretty deep research on stuff that and pull out things that I didn't know or that I found interesting. I just had Amanda Seales. I did not know that she had a master's from Columbia.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we talked about that, and it's an African American studies with a heavy concentration in the history of hip hop.
Well, you can do that?
Yes.
That's
and
cool.
And she's so smart. And it was fascinating how that came to be and how she worked it in to the master's program. And I mean, that's something, you know, most people, I think, when they're researching someone would skip over.
Yeah.
No, I found that fascinating.
A degree,
a master's
with emphasis on hip hop.
Well, African American studies with a concentration.
That's really cool.
You know, so our conversation took a whole different turn, much more about the history of culture than necessarily talking about Insecure.
Right.
You know, and you know, we were laughing because I went to Penn, and I'm like, you know, isn't it? Because we were talking about it. I go, look, we're using all that education that our parents paid for, and suddenly it became like, oh, and we both kept trying to use sort of unused words, and we're cracking each other up during it. I'm like, look, we're using that education.
So who are some of the guests that you have coming up?
Amanda Seals is coming up. I do a bunch. Oh my God, I'm so tired. I've done like 5 this week. Oh my God, I'm completely blanking. I always have a great celebrity guest. The one I was supposed to do today got moved, but I'm like, hold on, let me pull up my calendar.
Yeah.
Huh. Allow me. Let me just stop down for a minute and pull up my calendar from this week.
No, it's good. Our audience would love to.
I had Countess Luann, Amanda. I'm gonna have hopefully the Paul and Prue from Great British Baking Show. I'm supposed to do tomorrow. I have Jewel that I just did.
Oh, nice.
Yep. I have really, really wonderful guests and guests that I enjoy talking to.
That's the most.
I just did Liz Goldwyn that just came out, who's a sex expert. I just did Lisa Barlow from Real Housewives. And all these are coming out.
Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely look forward.
Yeah. I'm like, I can't, I'm so confused right now from trying to pull out holiday crap out of my group.
Now,
I sold my house a year and a half ago. Was it a year and a half, 2 years ago? This is 2 years ago, moved into a rental last January, I guess it was. That would make sense. And was in the rental for a year and moved into a house I'm now in February.
Okay.
So to be 100% honest, half my stuff is still in boxes because from the move into the rental, I didn't even unbox half of it. Because I didn't think I was going to be there for a year.
Take your time. Yeah.
So we have been digging out, looking for all the holiday stuff today.
Amazon has amazing Hanukkah stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh, we're having to get rid of a lot because it's just, we moved in such a hurry right after the holidays 2 years ago that we basically took everything and hurled it into boxes.
Right.
Thinking, oh, we'll deal with this when we get to the new house, which we never. So it's like, I can't remember anything other than the fact that I need new garlands for the stairs. And somewhere in the midst of all of that, there's a menorah buried somewhere.
Yeah, you only have 8 days to find it,
Well, we do Christmaka.
Oh, Christmaka's good. Okay.
Yeah.
Christmaka's great, yeah.
I'm guessing that's Christmas and Hanukkah together?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it means you're celebrating anything that involves giving or receiving a present.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, with a name like oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's truly Hanukkah because it's all about the gifts.
Yeah, that's
and
what it's just.
Yeah. And so, look, the 25th, another day to unwrap things.
Anytime I go to a store with a name like Barry Cohen, they move me into the Hanukkah section. It's like like my parents didn't even try with our name. It's
really?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I think because my parents didn't grow up being allowed to have Christmas trees and such, that the holiday, I always just say the holidays basically would vomit all over our house. I mean, if it wasn't moving, my mother decorated it, and she started at Halloween.
Right.
And would roll into Thanksgiving. And then as soon as Thanksgiving was over, would roll right into the holidays.
They got if Hallmark or one of these places does some more legit Hanukkah movies, they really got to book you to act in that.
Well, now that Hallmark's apparently gotten too edgy.
Well, because
for Candace Cameron.
Right. Because they had the one, my wife watches some of it, and she's like, oh, there's a Jewish movie. There's one, Hanukkah. We're going to give it a shot. I kid you not, the actor that played the Jewish person, for the majority of the movie, spent his time with the Christmas family trying to hide the fact that he was celebrating Hanukkah for the majority of the movie. And that's what they tried to brand as the Hanukkah movie.
Well, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least the main character didn't walk around just going, oi.
Oh, right. Right.
What is this?
Right.
Your cousin Barry, mother's still broken hearted that he didn't become a dentist.
You better Venmo me for the Grubhub, I swear.
Exactly.
See, that's how we do it nowadays. But no, like we had a like last at Hanukkah, we had my wife and I we got a 6 foot uh Jewish snowman that had a yarmulke on. Okay.
Did you, was it like an inflatable that you could put on your
Yes.
front lawn?
Yes. Someone stole it.
Oh,
Someone stole it. I called the HOA and I said, I look, I'm not getting political, but you know, I don't know. I mean, it's just
maybe they stole it because they liked it.
maybe I didn't see it anywhere, you know. And
Yeah.
like, what do I do? Do I go to the Porter Ranch or North
HOA.
Yeah, the HOA, or do I go to the Facebook page where all the Karens are and go, someone stole my snowman menorah? Oh no, you know, like you
See,
know.
I would do that just to laugh at the answers. I would do it just to laugh. And like that to me, you want to be like, oh, good job.
Yeah.
I'm brokenhearted. And then I would go out and buy another one.
Yeah, we thought about it, but I mean, it's like, what do we call Amazon and tell, the offshore call center that somebody stole my Jewish snowman?
No, I would order like 5 of them. And every time one got stolen,
Okay.
and like Gremlins, another one will pop up.
Yes. We're
Or like whack-a-mole, just keep having them pop up. And I would have taken them like a Where's Waldo and moved them all around the neighborhood.
I'm going to throw Manischewitz on it and have my cousin who's a cantor come over and bless it. And we're going to have 10 more pop up.
Also, I just keep moving it around the neighborhood and taking pictures.
I love that you're into Gremlins and Ghostbusters. I love it. I love that.
But wouldn't that be funny? It should just pop up randomly all over Porter Ranch.
Yeah, well, down the street, we have the church. I'm not going to say the name on the show, but it's like one of those mega churches. So I want to check that basement. I'm just saying.
Go in with flashlights.
Yeah, just like a flashlight, like a PKE meter, a Jewish PKE meter.
Or 8 flashlights for Hanukkah.
8 flashlights. That's a lot of flashlights.
Yeah, well, but I would. I'm that person would just be having them pop up all over the neighborhood. What's just to mess with people?
Yeah, we got to give them like a Jewish name, like where's Kai? Like where's
Ira?
Ira, where's Ira? Yeah, where's Ira?
I think you guys should celebrate Hanukkah together.
Yeah, every day it should just show up somewhere else in the neighborhood.
Yeah, he's in line at Brent's Deli right now. I don't know if
I was gonna say behind bushes.
Behind bushes. He's fearing for his life because of the anti-Semitic.
Yeah, but I mean and you talk about my family having a ridiculous sense of humor.
Oh my God, it's so nice, like talking with you like that.
That's what we would do.
I love it.
It would just be showing up random places.
I love that, and it kind of brings me to kind of full circle a little bit because one of the things I watched the Fashion Police tribute show that you did with your for your mom where you showed the clips, and the thing that you said that hit me, and I love it, and because my mom's maiden name is Freilich, okay, which in Jewish is like happy, and I don't know much more than that because I went to Hebrew school for the bar mitzvah and stopped, but
I never got that far.
Never got that far. Was do what your mom would want to do and just laugh.
Yeah.
That's what you said, and that struck me. And I thought, not just as a comedian, but just in life,
You have to. I mean, if you really step back and look, life is a constant battle of being knocked down and getting back up. And as I was saying to a friend of mine the other day, God, we were looking at a picture of all of us from college and we're just like, oh my God, we all look so young. I'm like, yeah, it's before life beat the shit out of all of us. You know what I mean? At a certain point, you're like, it's just, you're around long enough, you're going to have the crap kicked out of you a few times. And you just gotta laugh.
Yeah.
We all spend plenty of times in our lives sad or crying or angry or frustrated, but you gotta laugh when you can.
You and your mom were so good at that. I mean, there's one there's one scene I was watching where they were cooking matzo balls, and they were like, "What's matzah? What's a matzah? I don't know." And then there was like, I think the assistant or something, and then just your mom's reaction to it. It just showed how much you valued family. And the comedy and stuff was all there. Yeah, that's great. Tonight Show, fantastic. But what it came down to was just that one scene probably meant the most, it seemed like, to her, because of the smiling on her face, and just the interaction and explaining, I know this is great. Stop, it's matzah. And then the gefilte fish talk, I don't even know.
Ugh. I actually asked someone the other day who was a food expert. I'm like, okay, I have spent plenty of time snorkeling. I have yet to see a gefilte. What the hell is it?
We just
and they didn't realize I was joking, and they really explained. I'm like, it is the most repulsive thing ever.
Yes. And the Passover, it's like they have it at Passover too. And Passover, which is basically Michael, so Passover is basically once a year interactive dinner theater. Okay.
Right.
So
in our family, we drank good wine.
Good.
It was a one-act show, no longer than 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's what we tried to. Yeah, anything over like 20 to 30, like we never did the back end. Never did the back end. Yeah, never did the back end. You find the afikomen, you're done. You call it a day.
You call it. You hit all the big stuff. You hit the plagues.
Yeah.
You hit the questions.
Yeah.
You do a little responsive reading, and you eat.
Right.
There's really not much more to do. Oh, and you open the door.
And there's some acting, yeah, but God, when I lived in Van Nuys and did a Passover Seder, I didn't do the opening the door part, but that was for a different reason.
So let it be written, so let it be done. You can also just cut to the chase and watch the 10 Commandments.
You could, yes, or there's that one animated one, The Prince of Egypt. Did you ever see that?
No, I didn't.
Okay, it was good, except they kind of made the Jewish people animated wise kind of look like the gray aliens from Close Encounters, how they animated it. So it looked really weird, but the message was there.
Yeah.
I mean, same thing you see at Universal Studios. Every hour on the hour when that happens. So,
yeah. Sorry, you got to keep it moving.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it moving.
Yeah, Mike, we got a couple minutes more.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask Melissa. This is a question that I always like to end on with my guests. Is there any advice that your mom gave or that you would give to someone who wants to get into comedy or show business?
You better love it, and you better, in your heart of hearts, know that as the only thing that you want to do, because it is a constant life of rejection, no matter how big you get. And always like, what do you mean? And it's always like, you got to remember, even the top A list people very rarely are the first ones to be sent a script. So Julia Roberts might be sent a script that someone else already turned down, or Kate Blanchett might be sent the script first before it goes to Nicole Kidman. Or Nicole Kidman might get a script and read it and pass and say, not for me. And then it goes to Kate Winslet. So you can never, ever, ever not be rejected at any level.
Yeah.
Just part of the process then.
It's just part of the process. And there's maybe a handful of times, and conversely, from like the writing perspective and those are you send it to all these actresses or actors and they turn it down. And you might be the biggest screenwriter in the world.
Now with the writing, did you help your mom out with a lot of the acts?
No.
Did she ask you for any advice on punchlines or anything?
Not advice, but she'd be like, do you think this is funny? Is that funny?
Yeah.
But, that's the advice she always gives. You better love it more than anything in this world, because no matter how big you get, you will still continuously be rejected.
Right. And I got to ask you this too before I was watching that HBO show, and I swear they're trying to imitate your mom.
Oh yeah. But it's all very loosely based. Yeah. And my mother would be thrilled that it's Jean Smart, who she always thought was genius. And to be tall and blonde like that, that's like my mother's dream, her or Kate Blanchett.
Right. And now we got 4K and 1080p. So if it's supposed to be her, it looks fantastic.
Exactly. So to be tall and blonde and waspy like that, literally, what more would she ask for?
They had a scene where they even had because when I was thinking about that, I started watching it. They even had the joke cards in there. They even did something with the Joe cards on one of the episodes.
That I didn't see, but I think that Gene is genius.
Beautiful. All right. Well, thank you so much, Melissa.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you, guys. Glad we finally got together.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Happy Merry Christmas and
Merry
Happy
Christmas,
Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays.
And
Merry, joy, joy.
Miscellaneous and all that other fun stuff. And good luck with your holiday decorating. And may you keep your inflatables away from people that took my.
However, I'm already thinking that I might have to get something just to keep moving it around the neighborhood to amuse myself.
Yeah, you need like a good security system, like a Jewish robot or something. You know, just make sure it doesn't shut down on Fridays, and you'll be all right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thank you, Melissa. Bye-bye.